On everyone, I hope you're well and doing great after this weekend as we get back together. Yes, Daniel, to go ahead and do what we do best, put the work in, make sure we stay on the right side across markets. Look at the NASDAQ. This is beautiful over here. April 2nd, we put out a video titled "The Markets Are Not Crashing." It was during the height of the macro doomers. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Everything's going to crash. But NASDAQ up 30% today, making new all-time highs. It is a beauty to see. We're going to have a lot to talk about this week. A lot to talk about, including what this means now for the current AI build-out, what is going to be transforming, things to watch out for. Noticing that I just saw a headline today that surprised me. We're seeing a lot of these companies going ahead and tapping the debt markets. We're seeing a lot of these companies issuing shares to pay for the build out now. Market's probably not going to like it. A selection of those with less headwinds are probably going to be much more important now. But Nvidia, who's a cash cow, just went to the debt markets to raise $20 billion. I was surprised by that. Nevertheless, we have to look into that. We have a lot to talk about. Is the honeymoon beginning? It's hard to say right now what's in store. Obviously, we are seeing a NASDAQ up 4%, trading like a 3 times levered ETF. It is obviously here a reprieve of what looks to be the situation being resolved and traffic on the 19th beginning to open up to normal through the Strait of Hormuz. Of course, we all know that Israel could change that in a heartbeat, and there's never anything easy about it. And the odds seem that we're going to go ahead and enter into this 60-day negotiation period. It seems that both sides really want this to happen. And then we have, of course, the third side that we're not so sure. Bull run. LOL. Lots of love lurking up for sure. Once again, my apologies. Look, what's going on over here? We are seeing, or did we get it wrong? Did we get it right? As you all know, we were talking about and just taking a look at what it meant as far as did the markets actually bottom over here in February 5th, 2026. And is this saying, were we actually following the trajectory of past bear markets? Only that a lot of people had the top wrong. The top, and indeed, was over here on the 5th of October, 2025. Now, structurally, it likely was over here, December, January 2024, 2025. Checkmate says, yep, on chain, that definitely says that's exactly what happened. Now, I know price made a higher high over here, but there were $20 billion of inflows into the spot ETFs at this particular moment. And that is worthy of just incorporating into what you believe may or may not be happening. Again, I am from a different perspective. It's outside the 4-year cycle. I think what the markets are doing is keying off liquidity. I've showed you that monetary base total has finally begun rising. Obviously, the current situation the markets have been working through has played a tremendous role on what's shaping and taking place. Could anyone say that, well, okay, I see the February call, markets swept that low. Okay, it made a lower low in price. It swept the low. It's a double bottom, though, any way you look at it. It's exactly what happened, though, in 2019 when we saw the move of QT stopping and price rise and then making that massive leg down and then sweeping the low and then beginning the rise up until they lock down the globes. It's likely where we are right now, but what matters and what matters most is whether or not we are able to go ahead and break out from this descending wedge. And it is a descending wedge. Anyway, you look at it. I'll just go ahead and bring up the pointer really quick because the pointer is great. There's so much going on and so much catching up to do. So we're going to get into it. By the way, we are seeing Bitcoin entering on the long side. Fantastic. It has been more than a minute So then we see Bitcoin here, momentum building now to the upside. And we also have obviously the stop exit short on Ethereum to go ahead and lock in what is going to be a nice take on the short side. We're looking at strategy on V2. V2 trade is still open from strategy entry on the short side. That is looking to also lock in a very nice downside, short side position. And then for me, it is the move. I can't wait. I feel like the timing was perfect. I'm so ready here, and we have a set on the horizon, and it looks like that we are, right on time, about to see the next set of wave enter into the markets. Currently sidelined after the last move off of that April bottom. Now we put out that video. The markets are not crashing. I know that people told you that fertilizer prices are going up. I know that people told you that, well, the strait is still closed. The strait is still. And here we are right now. And once again, it does not pay to listen to doomers. It does not pay to listen to doomers. And you can, what a mess. I'm ready. I can't. I have the alert set up in the Discord. If you saw the strategy alert fire, there was, it needs to be edited because it had the soul imprint in it. So I will reset all 6 alerts as soon as we close off this meeting, because I don't know, by the end of the day, maybe we have Tesla, maybe we have TQQQ, maybe we have FNGD, which is entries on FNGU, the inverse. All of them are potentially getting ready to trigger. So I'll make sure those alerts are set up. And then, not today, I've been working over the weekend a little bit trying to get the strategy dashboard updated, and it's going to look something like this. It's not ready yet, but again, and Roman went ahead and was like, yep, great. V5 stocks released. We got to make sure we have the alerts up. What's going on with the strategy dashboard? So it's going to look really nice. We'll get that going pretty soon. Very, very excited for the next opportunities here on V5. It was brought to my attention, Michael M28, wondering, could we revisit the 2-year trade? It looks like it's getting set for a nice resumption downwards, or yields moving down, and want to take a look at that with you. First, let's just start over here. And some of you might have saw the launch on Friday, or all of you probably saw the launch of SpaceX, and with the market's momentum rising well, so is SpaceX continuing. And I didn't buy it. I probably regret it, in so much as that Fidelity is like, oh, if you buy it, you can't sell it for 2 months. Otherwise, there's like a strike against you. And then you can't buy another IPO for 60 days. And then if you get 2 strikes, you're banned for a year. Well, whatever. There's no IPO coming to market in the next 2 months that's worthy. Anthropic will probably, or might be, right around there. But it would have been worth taking a quick, before the unlock, which is what? Is it a 2-week period? We start seeing some of the early shareholders being able to go ahead and begin their exit into the liquidity. You know what? I feel like it was maybe a missed opportunity, but here we go. I think that long term, I think that if the opportunity arises, I don't know what that means or what that looks like. This thing could continue doing some Elon things. Who knows? But if I get the opportunity to build a position, I think I want to be owning SpaceX for the foreseeable future. So I'm going to be watching that. We looked at what this might mean right over here a month ago when we were looking at the liquidity grab happening in real time. And now that continues. And this is all dependent on what's taking place with the Strait of Hormuz. So it could have gone either way, and it could continue to go either way, right? But right now, we are seeing obviously what looks like to be a resolution of the situation. You could see over here, zooming in further, we just had a buy impulse, right? The inverse buy impulse. And this looks like we could be targeting down 4.2% or in a little lower into the support. I don't know that we're going to see that break anytime soon. That that would be a double liquidity grab if it does. One thing to just throw out there, watch out for is I believe that the markets are really mispriced with that hike, and I think that likely the next move from the Fed is going to wind up being a cut. And again, that's why we talked about gold being a potential opportunity. So we're going to have to keep tracking that as the market likely potentially moves from pricing in a hike to moving towards the next coming cut. Some people probably wondering what's going on with the dollar yen as the Bank of Japan is getting ready to raise rates to 1%. Got to keep an eye on it. Obviously here, right into resistance, rejected on the news as expected. If the news went the way that it did, could have gone either way. And you could see what could be a second sell impulse getting ready to set up a weaker dollar. And then with the Bank of Japan raising rates, that could set up a stronger yen. So it looks like the 160 is going to be able to be defended again. I would expect that we should see a move at least into this structural support. That, could we break it down and test lower? Yeah. Are we going to have a massive breakdown and a revisit of the Japanese yen unwind? Unlikely. That was an outlier we posted for 2026, something to keep an eye on. We said in December that will not be a monetary reset. The people literally were saying in December that the Bank of Japan is going to raise rates and it's going to cause a monetary reset. Ripple's going to become the bank. No, that's not happening. It is something to watch out for, but we said much later into 2026. I don't think this is setting up that event, but we have to keep a wide eye on it, especially with what looks like forces that now will continue to weaken the dollar. That's my expectations. That outside of a curveball from Israel, it seems that we should see a weaker dollar. That could give the Japanese yen room here to kind of go ahead and mean reversion a little bit. And I don't think it's going to lead to a crisis, but something we need to watch out for. And then let's just jump back and keep the story going over here. Look what's going out with Bitcoin, as we see very clearly. But we're not bottoming until October. Maybe. We have over here something that we're going to keep watch of, and that's the Wyckoff accumulation, and almost right on time the move up, right? We got to watch and see what happens, and will we take out that low? And guys, I have no idea what the world is going to look like next week. I cannot imagine what it's going to look like 3 months from now. So what is going to happen is we're just going to go ahead and make sure that we continue to keep our heads down, continue to stay in front of it, and follow momentum stay on the right side, and continue doing everything that we're doing as far as building. Some people are continuing to move. So I know B South, I just want to hot tip on Fridays, like, Jordan, I have the time. If there's anything we could help out with, I'm here. We saw that same thing with Cabby looking to help. Is there anything on your plate that I could take off and help you? Guys, I'm moving so quickly. You have no idea. You're going to find out soon something really major that was in play, but we are getting closer and closer to being exactly where we want to be. So just a further little continued patience, and we could see that we continue delivering. That's a great sign as we get, and this is not the end. I showed you already a glimpse of what the other NVIDIA V5 Tesla O2 looked like. That also was on the short side, right? And then I was taking a look at Friday at Google. Remember back all the way in April when I was like, oh, I modeled Google and it's able to outperform buy and hold, like keep on par. It was almost exactly the same. But the trick there is eventually the doomers will be right, and eventually the markets will be crashing. And if you don't know when to buy and hold and when to sell, it's an enormous problem. But from what I'm working on and what I'm putting together, it was able to go ahead and drastically improve on what I did on Google. What that means is that we're likely going to have continued much further development on everything we're putting together. and that will bring it back and circle back right away. Actually, today I wanted to just kind of jump and move over back and just take a look at Bitcoin. So maybe tomorrow I'll be presenting on that. So it does look like, let's take a closer look here at what's going on with the 2-year. And we could see that, well, this wasn't the ultimate time and moment to take the trade. Hold on, let me just jump in and get a better look over here at the 2-year. And this is the inverse. So we're looking here as yields go down for this to rise. I like the chart over here. That was definitely drummed up. I go ahead and I could follow that with you by doing this. Boom, 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 boom. Let me just go ahead and invert it 1 second. All right. And that's exactly what we're looking at. Are we going to see a reprieve on yields as the straight opens up? Well, assuming the straight does open up, assuming that the deal is not sabotaged and that both sides enter into this 60-day period of negotiations, we should see a reprieve in yields, which have been selling off because as the price of oil was rising, expectations for inflation to continue to rise were obviously the only rational conclusion that could be made. And that should change now. And if it does, this might be, you could see it triggering actually right here today. And that's a perfect buy impulse. Good luck on that, Michael. It looks very clean. It looks very good to me. Is that where you want to be? Right. You know what? Bonds are for trading, not for holding. This looks like a good opportunity over here. And you know what? If something goes wrong, I think this is more like a geopolitical play. The strait opens up and we start seeing traffic beginning on the 19th resume working towards a normal. At that point in time, we should get a reprieve on the price of yields and inflation. And then the conversation is going to become, oh, AI is deflationary. We have cover. We're going to go ahead and we're going to be accommodative and we're going to start cutting rates. And then we're going to see that the market was extremely mispriced. That's what I believe is going to happen. Yep. Great spot over here. Looks like a great time. And well played over there, Michael. Bitcoin jumping back over here. And we could see that. Where's the cord? Where's the cord? Could this be, or could we see 4-year cycle enthusiasts once again be correct? 100%. I don't know what happens going into the summer. I expect that as long as we have a good rest of the June and July, so long as the current status quo, which is that we're seeing a retreat in the conflict and traffic to resume towards normal. If that happens, June and July is likely very good. Some consolidation pullback into August, maybe further in September, but probably a lot more sideways than any type of downward pressure, I assume. I'm looking for the seasonalities chart to share with you. I can't find it right now. So I would have pulled that up, but I can't pull it up. So I'm watching the breakout. This is the most important line in crypto. Once again, the green line over here. You remember what most important line in crypto when we had the first breakout? Once again, we're tracking it. And if we get a breakout above here, it'll be a tremendous repair, reclaiming the orange line. And I think that point, this is the trigger above 82. Remember we were at 82 and I was looking for a strong move into 87, 88. Obviously, that did not work out anywhere close. And you could see that, well, it was a good call. We had a breakout, retest, resumption. It was the logical call. We were faded hard as we continue to see the pressure from the geopolitical situation. And it looks like that we have a liquidity grab in process. And this will be the confirmation above 82. We were looking at that from multiple perspectives the other day. I like this fractal. It's just a fractal. I don't know if it's going to... I like this fractal a lot, though, between NVIDIA in 2018 and 2021. And right now here in real time on Bitcoin, and it is playing out pretty close to what developed last time. So we're going to continue to watch that, and that's the trigger. That's the trigger above there. Same thing with the Wyckoff, or I should say the confirmation. That's the confirmation. We're already early. We're entering the trade right now, trying to see if that momentum continues to carry. But Bitcoin has always seen wedge patterns that led to the beginning of the next bull. Will this be looked back if this is the bear market? If this is the bottom, will it be looked at as if this was a bear market? Yeah, 55% correction is a bear market. In retrospect, does that fit where we said what a max correction in a bear market would be? It does. Did I think we would be correcting this far? No. Look at this chart over here, and right now it looks on time. Bitcoin and previous bear markets, no doubt about it. And if we continue making legs down, which seems unlikely in the current climate, again, we're triggering on the buy side right here, right now, where we just entered the buy side on Bitcoin. Momentum is kicking up. But if this were to happen, if the Israelis cause something to flutter and the situation to get out of control or whatever, and this were to happen, I mean, but if you were to see something different take place and you were to see the break of 82 and you were to see by the end of the year, I mean, then this bear market didn't resemble any other bear market. So the jury is still out, even though a lot of people taking victory laps. This is lining them up off of the high over here into December 2024. I just want to get a look at the deviations. And you could see that if that's the case, we're currently right on time. This would be if the low was in February and we just took out the low. And well, should the low be here now? No, it's still well within the mean of the deviation. It's still my preferred track of what I believe is happening. This is lining them up over here as if the high was where it was. The highest price was in October. And, still, I mean, very plausible. Bear market pattern. It would require that further leg down into the fall. Under the current climate, it seems unlikely. So either way, this is the first confirmation. Would be the first confirmation that it's kind of late, right? Remember over here we called 17,250 the bull market breakout, and then this was the first confirmation, and then most people called the bull market up here. That which is the truth of it. I was calling underbelly breakouts. People are like, that's ridiculous. Drawing lines on my chart, showing it's going to make a lower low, blah, 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 blah. But this time, we'll have to be late for a bull market to be confirmed that it has the potential to actually be triggering. It's all the way up here from a technical standpoint. Technical is inferior to mechanical. So don't forget about that. Let me check in with what you guys are saying, doing over here really quick. And that's all. We're going to keep it light and sweet here because I want to get back to work. Rocket Lab, I'm going to go check out that with you. Rocket Lab. These were my picks for 2026. And the thing is, I mean, if you SOXL is not one of them, by the way. SOXL is not one of them, and Blocks is not one of them. Every other one is. And if you were to add up these over here together and average them, I think it was like a 35% return last we did it. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's not the way to go, though. Could we find a way to model it? That's still on the back burner. But Rocket Labs, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. My opinion is, and then I started doing this. I did like, what are the current like stocks that are leading? And I gave you my criteria. Rocket Labs is amongst them. And then this is the updated from this weekend. Rocket Labs, I think, fell off. I plan on having a way for us to either through a mechanical discretionary way to do a scan and then look where the momentum is highest, and then go ahead and concentrate with a portion of our portfolio over there. That's not there. That's not yet into fruition, because obviously you know where my head is and what I'm focused in on. So I'm going to continue focusing in on over there. I'm drawing lines wrong. Yeah, I know. Sure. Everyone, God bless you. Have a beautiful day. CTM strong. I'll see you all on the inside. I'm going to make sure I get those alerts going on the updated alerts now on the V5 stocks. I'm still monitoring them just to make sure it's as I want them as they beginning coming through. And not today, but probably like by the end of this week, I expect to have the new updated complete dashboard. Everyone, have a beautiful day. I'll see you all back now on the inside.